Good morning, Toby Johnson. I'm Nick Kramer, and it's first period on February 21st, 2017.
That means it's time for First Things First on TJTV. I'm Kayla Sue.
The Franklin Community Library reopens today, 58 days after the flooding occurred from a broken spigot during winter break.
The flooding was discovered on December 26th, and significant damage was done to the library's community room and children's reading area.
Not only did the damage to the library facilities have to be repaired, but each of the 87,000 books in the library had to be checked for damage.
Thankfully, the textbook area was not affected and textbook distribution occurred as usual.
I'm sure our community members and the students at Franklin High School and Toby Johnson Middle School are happy to get their library back.
Thanks to reporter Vincent Cow for the library footage.
Virtual reality is a cool, new way to experience the world in 360 degrees.
Mrs. Zoo's class has been experimenting with Google Cardboard as a way to bring VR into the yearbook.
Reporters Hannah Vecchione and Faith Provost have the story.
I feel like I could touch.
Students are experiencing something a little different. It's called Google Cardboard, a VR headset that you put your phone into and experience the world in 360-degree virtual reality. The glasses are sweeping the nation, and now they're here at Toby Johnson with thousands of places to visit.
The cool part is when you put your phone inside the lenses and it lines up with where your eyes are, now you can see like this virtual reality experience.
Very interesting.
Oh, that's so cool.
So my students, when I was telling them about this, I said, is there a way for us to get this into the yearbook? And they were like, yeah, we can do that. So you're really going to be able to experience this whole year in 360-degree videos. So you'll follow our channel, and then all of the videos are going to be available for you to play back with your free Google Cardboard lenses.
The first 800 to buy yearbook are going to get a Google Cardboard free with their yearbook. The most exciting part about this year's yearbook is being able to watch the school year in 360-degree virtual reality.
What a bonus to get Google Cardboard with your yearbook.
It's going to be great to check out the events from this year in 360 degrees.
We all know that fast food isn't the healthiest choice. However, new studies show that it isn't just the food that is unhealthy.
To hear more about this story, let's go to reporter Madison Brooks.
Thanks, Nick. In addition to the unhealthy nature of most fast food, studies are now showing that what food is wrapped in can also be a danger to your health. The waxy wrappers and boxes that are made to repel water and grease contain chemicals that may be toxic. Synthetic chemicals such as polyfluoroalkyl substances, or PFAs, were in about half of the wrappers tested. 56% of the bread and dessert wrappers, 38% of the sandwich and burger wrappers, and 20% of the boxes used for French fries and chicken nuggets tested positive for PFAs. Although the chemical is not being cooked into the food, the chemical may be transmitted to the food as it sits in the wrappers. Studies have linked exposure to PFAs to a number of health problems such as suppressed immune function, altered liver, thyroid and pancreatic function, and increased risk of cancer. While further toxicology testing is needed, greater public awareness can enable people to exert pressure on manufacturers and restaurants and to help consumers like us to make more informed choices.
That's great information, Madison. Thanks for that report.
That's another reason to eat at home.
On the way to school, most of the students from Franklin High School and Toby Johnson Middle School crossed the street at the busiest intersection of Franklin High Road and Whitelock Parkway.
In addition to the thousands of students that cross that intersection every day, there is someone out there with a mission to keep students safe.
Some people may think crossing the road is easy, but for Doris Wallace, it's big business. 80-year-old Doris Wallace has been a school crossing guard for Toby and Franklin for 11 years.
They want me to tell you a funny story? I have none, except I'm 80 years old.
She works a total of 3 hours a day, 5 days a week, with the goal of getting kids safely across the street.
I'm still out here trying to help the kids.
Whitelock and Franklin are one of the busiest intersections in the neighborhood. Working rain or shine, Doris helps an estimated 3,830 people cross the street. Doris's number one goal is to make sure.
No, they're safe.
Reporting for TJTV, I'm Nick.
Doris Wallace has made a huge contribution to our school, and we are very grateful for her help. As we continue to celebrate Black History Month, let's go to Kulani to learn about who made the biggest contributions to racial equality.
As we continue the celebration of Black History Month, today we're going to focus on the major players of the civil rights movement that, without question, have changed our lives. These leaders include Martin Luther King Jr., a minister and social activist who led the civil rights movement in the United States from the mid-1950s until his death by assassination in 1968. He was best known for his "I Have a Dream" speech, which talked about blacks having the same rights as whites. He died fighting for this cause and will always be remembered as one of the most important civil rights leaders ever born. Rosa Parks, a simple seamstress who took one act of defiance on a bus and got the attention of the whole country, spurring the Montgomery boycott and other efforts to end segregation. She was later awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom, the highest honor a citizen can achieve. And Frederick Douglass, an abolitionist and eminent human rights leader in the anti-slavery movement, and he was the first African-American citizen to hold a high U.S. government rank. Together, these iconic figures changed the course of history and America for the better.
Thanks, Kulani.
Our lives are completely different because of their contributions. Ever since the presidential election, fake news has been big news.
Let's go to Emily Cho to learn more about fake news versus real news.
Today, fake news stories are becoming big news because of the large number of sources that are deliberately leading people to believe things that are false. It is important for all people to be able to tell the difference between real and fake news stories. So here are a few tips on how to tell the difference between real and fake news stories. First, pay attention to the domain and URL of a website. Trusted news sites end with .com, but others may contain fake news when it ends with .co or other endings. Next, check out the About Us section where you can find out about the organization's leaders and who is behind the information on the website. Quotes in the story or lack of them can also give you a clue about the news reporting. If there are quotes, look at who said them and ask yourself, are they a reliable source with a title? If there are no quotes, it may imply that your story is the reporter's opinion rather than based on fact. Check it out. Oftentimes, the comments about the story on social media can give you a clue about the truth of the story, and if no other news sources are reporting the story, it may be suspicious. Try a reverse image search on images included in the story. If the image on the site is appearing on many stories about different topics, there's a good chance that the image is being used to mislead you into believing fake news. A little investigation and common sense should help you be able to tell the difference between real news and the fake stuff.
SF Jazz is an organization that is recognized international leader in jazz creation, presentation, and education.
Recently, our school was one of 4 schools chosen to participate in a unique interactive web experience.
Let's go to TJTV reporters Jalen Tilson and Madison Brooks to see what happened during the event.
Music students at TJMS participated in a live jazz concert that was held in San Francisco and broadcasted live in an interactive forum here in Mr. Roberts' classroom. As part of the celebration of Black History Month, SF Jazz created an interactive lesson that incorporated history, great African American artists, and of course, jazz. The goal of the SF Jazz was to teach about the African American jazz artist history.
So I was excited because I'm seeing a connection between history and music being made.
There's a lot of history behind jazz, and jazz is just a great genre of music.
Toby Johnson was one of the 4 schools that was invited to participate in this interactive experience. Screens, cameras, and microphones were set up at each of the 4 schools that brought the concert into their band rooms. The setup was pretty high-tech.
The program that's being used today is called UltraGrid. It's like Skype or like Google Hangouts where you can do video conferencing.
It just opens up the walls of the classroom or a school.
In this conference, we wanted to bring high quality audio since this is a presentation about jazz that's coming from the SF Jazz.
All this technology allowed our students to have a really unique experience.
I learned about a lot of new jazz idols and people that I've never heard before.
new stuff about artists that I didn't know about and what their music is like.
Jazz is America's gift to the world.
And SF Jazz gave the gift of jazz to Toby Johnson.
Thanks, Jalen and Madison. What an amazing experience to have come to our school.
Well, that's it for today's show.
We hope you've enjoyed this episode of
First Things First on TJTV. I'm Nick, Club Pictures Art Today.
And I'm Kayla.
Make it a great day.